Hey, thanks for watching everyone. We got an interesting take on a common off-road fantasy for you guys. We're going to show you guys what two Gen 1 Raptors, two zr2s gas and diesel, and a Gen 2 Raptor and Taco TRD can do in Baja. No big deal, I get it. We've all seen Baja run videos, but these vehicles are either stock or lightly modded. So we're going to show you guys what these common manufacturer offerings can do on parts of the Score race course and what they need to survive. In this particular video, we started out at Mike's Sky Ranch and started crawling a back way out towards the beach from there. It's all brutal terrain, and throughout the video, we're going to tell you what we did wrong so you don't have to repeat our mistakes and give you a proper damage report. We're also going to tell you what you need to be prepared to bring your common 4x4 vehicle over here and finish the run. But before we get too far into it, I gotta introduce you to the guy that made this video possible. That's Steven standing in front of his Inferno Orange Tacoma. All of the drone footage is courtesy of him, and he's a great pilot. So most of what you're gonna see is his work. I'm gonna put a link to his Instagram and YouTube channel in case any of you are in the market for drones, drone accessories, or bundle packages. Anything you're looking for from hobby to professional, personal, or gift. And his YouTube channel also does equipment reviews, so check him out. Mike's Sky Ranch is probably one of the best places to plan a trip out of Baja. That or the beach, more on that later. But before crossing the border in San Isidro, we stopped at this place. It's called Instant Mexico Auto Insurance. That's where we met. You can get cheap insurance. That's where the Score racers go. So it's a legitimate company. Also, if you have AAA, you could do it online. You can get a custom policy. We had a $500,000 insurance policy for 2 people. It was awesome, and it's AAA. So you could do it online. It's a little pricier, but you can custom make your policies. You might be able to custom make a cheaper one. But just so you guys know, this is the route that we took from San Isidro, where we met up right before the border crossing. And it took us around 170 miles just to get to the dirt to Mike's Sky Ranch. It was mostly highway, then we pulled off, and then we started off-roading. From the entrance to Mike's Sky Ranch, it's about 19 miles to the ranch where you saw the dog chasing the drone. And that ranch is awesome because a lot of the Score race course cuts through there. The course changes every year, but there's a lot of trails that intersect, that just loop, that just cloverleaf, they just all go through there. So it's a great spot for bikers, it's a great spot for off-roaders, UTVs, everything. And that's why it's such a historic part of the Score race course, just because the location is so central to all the off-road trails. And it's in the middle, so you can take trails there to both coasts, east and west. So this is our first time off-roading in Baja or on any part of any Score race course. John put this trip together and we helped with administration. This was strictly just a scouting trip, so we ended up doing a few things wrong. First off, this part of the course seems okay. Nice mountain trails, a little technical section, nothing too bad. But any of you that know this area will recognize it right away that it's the back way from Mike's Sky Ranch over to the beach. And the terrain gets pretty brutal further ahead. Everything from skid plates, sliders, they're all mandatory. We just kept scraping, kept bumping, it was horrible. We were super bummed originally. We came expecting the high speed, fast moving desert running that you see on TV, on the races, all that stuff, and we ended up driving hundreds of miles just to crawl all day. But there's a reason that you rarely see this part of the course that we're about to show you in the races. The roads just get too narrow and technical further ahead, and it's just too brutal to get a film crew in there. It's way too deep in the mountain for them to climb in, hike. It's just unreasonable, and for the same thing, you can't record from a drone comfortably. So short of a helicopter, which is also going to be limited by range and complete coverage, you're never going to see this part of the course. It was slow, brutal, beating up the underside of our vehicles. The passengers were just hanging on. Everyone was exhausted. It was a tough run. And like I said, we drove all day for this expecting high-speed stuff, so I was super pissed. But having said that, I'm super glad we came because I walked away with a whole different appreciation for the drivers. It must be awesome to see trophy trucks navigate through this tough terrain. Honestly, some spots felt too tight for the ZR2, so much so that I was curious how the Raptors were going to hold up. They're wider, they were forced to take different lines than us, and I wasn't sure if they were going to survive. This stuff was nasty. So try to imagine how awesome it must be to see a trophy truck just plowing through here, racing through here with their big 40-inch tires.
Can you pull it out or not?
Oh yeah,
His slider was okay. Some of you guys will take issue with me calling them sliders because they're bolted to the body, not the frame. So are the ZR2s. The ZR2 can get away with it, and other midsize because of the lightweight. But yeah, some of these bigger vehicles, if you're going to be crawling, you need something that's bolted to the frame. Either way, everything was fine. Some of the bolts were stripping. He just took it off before it caused further damage. The truck was good to go though. And speaking of this Raptor, this is a good chance to introduce all the vehicles just so you guys can do some light comparisons for yourself. This is John in his 2012 Gen 1 Raptor. He just bought it with low miles. He got a great deal on it. He's a drone pilot. He films off-road stuff, so he loves off-roading. He bought this just to get into it. If you want to see more of his work, check out our track day video. He did a lot of the recording there, and especially if you rather watch high-speed stuff, that was all track day on a dirt track, not crawling like this. But as far as his vehicle goes for this trip, it was still stock here. He's running lead nav on a big iPad up front and Lawrence just to be safe. He's got that rack, tool racks, he's got a jack in there, everything. He's got a winch. He's got everything you need to get in and out of trouble, but still stock enough to be dependable and reliable. And next up is Art in his Gen 1 Raptor. This guy's a total character. He came all the way from England. He's got a YouTube channel too called Mud Nomad. He's got an aerial nomad. I'll put a link in the description so you guys can check him out. He did some filming too. I don't know if he'll have an episode, but if he does, I'll put a link in the description. But he's got a Gen 1 Raptor. It's got a few little additions, but nothing too crazy. Still comparable to a stock Raptor. He's got the bumper, as you can see. He's got his supercharger though. We did a little bit of racing in the beach. It was awesome hearing that whine of the supercharger. He also has a super cab. I was interested to see how this truck did versus the crew cab, the other four-door one. So this one's got a shorter wheelbase. It should navigate easier. I don't know if you feel a difference, but math is math, and it's smaller, shorter wheelbase. It should do better off-road. This guy had a long trip. He's been documenting a worldwide trip in his aerial nomad, and he's been documenting a trip across the United States. He's been in Texas, Arizona, Utah, all that stuff, and he just decided to add Baja to part of his trip when we put the word out. So check him out if you want to see any crazy worldwide off-road road trip adventures. Must be nice. This is Ray in his Gen 2 Raptor. As far as mods go, he's running all stock. He's got the aftermarket wheels on it. He's running stock KO2 tires. So I was really interested to see how he did. Again, it was pretty technical for the ZR2, so we were worried about how these big trucks are doing, but he loves crawling. I don't know what's wrong with him. He was like a pig in shit here, but the rest of us were pissed. His truck seems to do fine. I guess his experience pays off. Quick backstory on Ray as well. We met him in the Barstow video the first time we jumped the ZR2 with the Raptors. Just by dumb chance, he went on a trip that we decided to go on as well. Turns out he was an old fan of the channel. We already apologized for the original videos that were unwatchable. Turns out we're neighbors, so we've been getting pretty close. So chances are you'll see a lot more of this truck on our videos later. And you guys already know Steven, the drone pilot. This is his Taco. It's probably the most modified vehicle up here. He's got a little bit of extra clearance than everybody else. The ZR2 in the back as well, but more on that later. Steven's Taco is a 2016 TRD 4x4 off-road package, but he hooked it up to be a TRD Pro Killer. It's got old man emu suspension, front and back, total chaos arms. He's got a bunch of other stuff. It's an awesome build, dude. I got to drive it in a later trip. I can vouch for this little truck. It's awesome. I haven't been able to get behind the wheel of a Toyota with an Icon suspension setup, so I can't tell you which is better, but you won't be disappointed if you want to throw one of the suspensions on your Taco. In case any of you Toyota guys are interested in this build, check out our previous video where we showcase this truck in the same environment. And you get to hear from the owner himself about what he thinks about his suspension setup. Next up is Hector. This is one of those dudes that'll go anywhere with you, follow you anywhere, you follow him anywhere. He's awesome, dude. And he's got the truck to back him up. This is a diesel ZR2. He's got engine mods on it. He's got intake, exhaust. He's got transmission tunes, everything. But none of that matters because this is crawling, and on this section, clearance was the name of the game. But of course, the diesel variant with all this torque is the one you want if you're into crawling. He's got upgraded 33-inch tires as well on off-road wheels, plus an ADD bumper that really helps him with the clearance here. He had no trouble going through here. And next up is us in the stock ZR2. No parts list, no anything, no mods list to go through. This thing's 100% stock. Wheels, tires, everything. Nothing's been modified on this truck. We have an exhaust now, but we didn't have it on here, and we got an exhaust video coming out soon. For those of you who want to do an aftermarket exhaust on these vehicles. We were sweeping, so we didn't get a whole lot of footage. We were last to make sure everyone went through. So thankfully, we were lucky enough that Steven donated his drone footage so we could have a video to show you guys. Also, don't know if you guys noticed, but none of the mid-size video had to be sped up. That's how much quicker you can get through these sections with the mid-size compared to a full-size. Now, we told you guys in the beginning that this was our first trip out here, so we made a bunch of mistakes. There's a lot of unexpected scenarios in these trips, so the best thing you could do is pack your tools. Pack all the tools you can, all the spares you can fit, everything, just because you might need to make a repair and limp home. And besides tools, I mean coolant, take trans fluid, take engine oil, take everything. Also pack a lunch because it's pretty hard to find a spot to eat out here sometimes.
Lies.
I just want to know if they have tacos here.
I know, man. Hi, you know I gotta show Raptor damage.
That's not damage, dude. The other side is damage.
What happened? Zip ties for the lights?
Yeah, is it? No, his fender liner was coming off.
Ready?
So the crawling route we took from Mike's Sky Ranch over to the west coast of the peninsula to the beach was around 98 miles. It took us all day to trek through. It was slow, it was hard, it was exhausting. The passengers were just holding on to the sides, the handles, anything they could hang on to. But it's all worth it once you see the view. And we got here perfect, right at sunset. You can see the low light for the drones, but whatever, they still busted them out and started recording. So we hung out a little bit, relaxed, just unwinded from all the crawling, and we just played on the beach for a while. But we had to hurry up and go back to try to get our rooms. We tried to stay at a little place next to Coyote Kells. Coyote Kells was booked, so was Mike's Sky Ranch. You got to call ahead and reserve these places because they're real popular off-road destinations. Whether you're talking about tourists or actual racers, they get pretty crowded. They're really well known. So choose your hotels wisely, and if it's a popular spot, make sure they take a deposit, because we took so long to getting our room. They didn't take our deposit, but by the time we got there, of course, they had rented it out. It was a busy weekend. It was right next to Coyote Kells. So whatever customers couldn't find any rooms there are the ones that booked out our rooms. So if you plan to make one of these trips, the biggest tip I can give you, besides tools, besides preparedness, is that to make sure your room is squared away, especially if you're taking a family. If it was just a guy's trip or whatever, a roughing it trip, you can go prepared to stay on the beach. Who cares? But if you're taking your family, your wife and your kids are not going to be happy if you were like us, walking around knocking on random doors at 11, 12 o'clock at night looking for a place to sleep. And I'm lucky. I know Mexico well enough to get myself around. I was able to ask, but if your Spanish isn't on point, or even if you're just not too familiar or too comfortable in a foreign country, you're not going to want to be knocking on doors with your family in your truck. And like I said, guys, if you're not into crawling and you want to see more of the high-speed stuff, as soon as we're done with this video, I'm going to try to get my hands on Steven's footage from the second trip we took. That was more high-speed stuff, faster moving stuff, bigger group, all that stuff. So it should be more of what you guys are into. I'll give you guys all the details, all the problems, just like this, and encourage you guys to come out here and bring your stock vehicles. It's not that hard. Just like I said, let us know, hit us up on the comments, and we'll get back to you. We'll help you out. And now it's time for the damage report. Our vehicles got pretty thrashed. I'll show you all the trucks right now under it, whatever. None of us had to run home to a mechanic, but the whole underside of our trucks got beat up. The skid plates, the recovery hooks, the arms, everything, the rock sliders. None of us got body damage, but you could easily get body damage there. We did a really good job of spotting. The guys in the front were awesome, just standing there helping everybody. We were in the back sweeping, so we witnessed it from the AC. Good job, guys. The reason we're showing you guys the damage of the day, and the owners agreed to let me show it, was to encourage you guys, because this part of the course, any 4x4 vehicle can make it through here. If you got lockers, better, but you do need sliders, you do need skid plates. That's mandatory. None of us had any punctures, but it goes without saying, spares are mandatory. Also, radios, hard-mounted radios are mandatory. The handheld ones aren't gonna work. They'll cut it for little stuff, but if any of you guys get damaged and need to peel into town or separate or whatever, you guys are gonna get lost. The radios can communicate 20, 30 miles, depends what unit you got, even further. Aside from John having to remove his slider, none of us got into any real problems. You don't want to come alone though. I almost high centered. I did high center, but I was able to get out of it. So a secondary vehicle would be really nice, especially if you break down. I'm telling you, you guys are out in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to hike out of this location. So as you guys can see, there wasn't a whole lot to write home about as far as damage reports goes. None of us had to go to any mechanics or anything. It was just scrapes, just cosmetic stuff and just stuff that makes you grind your teeth when you're driving. So again, this is the part of the video where we're supposed to tell you guys what to buy, what we liked, what to stay away from. Honestly, every one of these vehicles had its advantages and every one of these vehicles had its disadvantages. For Baja, I would honestly say stick with the midsize. Modified, stock, whatever, a midsize will do you much better here. I know in our minds we all want some high-speed trophy truck just hauling through the sand right here, through the desert, through the beaches. But the reality is, unless you pre-run it, I don't care what you're in, it's not safe to be driving at those speeds. You're not going to do it. You're going to have to go check it out and then rerun it. So it doesn't matter what you have. The ZR2 is capable of Raptor speeds. So whether you're in a ZR2, whether you're in your Raptor, whether you're in a Tacoma, a Jeep, anything, you're going to have to check out the terrain before you haul on it. So that being said, for Baja, just to get down through the cities, all the little traffic in all these little areas, because it's not all completely mapped out, you have to do some exploring on your own. I would say midsize, just so you can get in and out faster. It's lighter, you can get out of trouble easier, but then it's hundreds of miles as well. So the square footage of a full size is nice to have, and I highly recommend it. And I'm not gonna lie, I wish we had it this whole time. So again, no matter what you pick, you're gonna be happy. Just go drive it, keep it dirty. Like always, just use your vehicle, enjoy your vehicle. You're gonna be fine. Big shout out for everybody that was in here. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like. Please share if you know anyone interested in going to Baja. We'll help you guys with all our experience, hotels, everything, whatever you guys need to know. let us know. We'll get to you on the comment section. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll put links to everybody's Instagram and YouTube account. Everyone that participated, all the trucks that you saw here, we'll put links in the description for you guys so you guys can follow them or ask them any questions you want about their trucks. Also, for any of our older followers or just Raptor fans in general, if you want to see any of the progress going on our Gen 2 Raptor build, go ahead and check us out on Instagram. For any of those of you who aren't Instagram savvy, don't worry, you don't need an account to view it or anything. Go ahead and follow the link in the description and it'll take you just to the web page. You could find it just online. You don't need an account, but you can see one of the updates and the full drawing on what got sent off to be built. And also, like I've told you guys before, that's how we organize, that's how we push shout outs out. So if you ever want to get in contact with us, if you ever want to go on runs with us, thank you. Please share, please subscribe and like, and as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.